We've been told for years how wonderful it is to count our blessings. It's a lot more fun to count $100 bills.
With those words, Jerry Gillis launched his iconic Moneylove audio tape series, which along with his best-selling book of the same name, touched the lives of millions of people and launched a new era in prosperity consciousness. While Moneylove was Jerry Gillis's most famous work, it was far from his only one. His insightful creativity extended to many topics, including published works in areas as diverse as friendship, sexuality, immortality, and more. A deep thinker who never lost his childlike curiosity or love of learning, Jerry combined a rich broadcaster's voice with a deep-seated desire to pass on as much of the knowledge he acquired as possible. Always eager to share and inform, he never seemed to lecture, a quality that many of his readers often commented on. Jerry always loved a good story, and his life wound up becoming one he would likely revel in reading. Amazing triumphs and horrible losses, ups and down to an extreme that few in the public eye ever experience. Jerry handled all of it with good cheer, optimism, and a positive outlook that never got extinguished. He rose higher than most and never became arrogant, and sunk lower than many and never became bitter. Few who knew or studied under him will ever hear the terms joyful triumphant or robust expectations and not remember for a moment the friendly, playful soul who so eagerly put those wonderful concepts into their awareness. We will now take a quick look at the life of Jerry Gillis and the fascinating story of where he came from, what he accomplished, and what he left behind for all of us. Jerry was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He always spoke fondly of his hometown and was particularly drawn to the Franklin Institute, a wonderfully interactive museum that he credited with stimulating his lifelong fascination with learning and acquiring of knowledge. As a young adult, he capitalized on his dramatic skills and embarked on a 12-year broadcast journalism career, which started in Dover, Delaware, detoured to Richmond, Virginia, and culminated with A Date with Destiny, when Jerry hit the big time as a newsman for NBC Radio in New York City. While at NBC, Jerry got involved with the personal development movement that was evolving at the time. He interviewed such luminaries as Og Mandino, Leo Buscaglia, and many others in his capacity as a broadcaster. It was right around this time he became involved with the Association of Humanistic Psychology. His involvement in this organization would shape all that was to come. It was also around this time that he met and became involved with a beautiful young model living in New York named Rupa Cousins. This relationship would blossom into a true soul partnership that would last many decades. Jerry's next stop was a move to Miami, where he began doing workshops on relationships, communication, and prosperity consciousness. The last item is where Jerry really made his mark. Jerry's concepts in Moneylove revolutionized people's ideas on prosperity, and high acclaim followed. His iconic best-selling book, Moneylove, would go on to sell 2 million copies, and along with the Nightingale Conant-produced audio series of the same name, would create a legacy that lasts till this day. Moneylove was a near-instant success, and seemed to hit a nerve with a very large segment of the population. The book and audio successfully united two concepts that seem to be very much at odds in modern society: money and love. Jerry's concepts, lighthearted delivery, and authentic desire to help people with this issue went a long way to make this enduring work the success that it was. On the audio version, his magnificent broadcaster's voice and friendly, down-to-earth delivery brought the introduction of these ideas and concepts to a whole new level. The result was one of the most effective and popular works in the history of the prosperity consciousness movement. Countless individuals were able to shed previously ingrained poverty consciousness beliefs and emerge joyfully triumphant in abundance, fulfillment, and prosperity. Rounding out the 1980s and coming into the 90s, Jerry Gillis had it all: fame, wealth, fulfillment, international lectures and workshops, lots of friends including a who's who of celebrities and A-listers in the personal development field, such as Louise Hay, Mark Victor Hansen, Wayne Dyer, and many more. Fate, Destiny, or something else was, however, laying in wait with a plan to turn Jerry's world upside down. While at the top of his game and the height of his career, an unfortunate series of events converged, which would culminate in Jerry losing virtually everything, including his freedom. Extremely aberrant behavior on Jerry's part led to a 12-year stint in Folsom State Prison. This extremely strange behavior would later be attributed to Jerry's consumption of dietary supplements containing ephedra, a now-banned substance linked to erratic mental behavior and temporary psychosis in thousands of users. The Moneylove Manifesto and Jerry's new book, Moneylove 3.0, provided specific details of this phase of Jerry's life and is fascinating reading. New beginnings. In 2008, Jerry emerged back into society. Indicative of his positive outlook and steady mindfulness to be joyful, optimistic, and hopeful, Jerry never engaged in sorrow, anger, or self-pity over his incarceration and the loss of 12 years of his life. Upon his release, he continued his writing, commenced with a career as a stand-up comic, and made several performances at San Francisco's famed Marsh Theater. After a 12-year absence, the changes in technology Jerry confronted were extreme. Jerry, with his ever-curious and creative mind, was not intimidated or put off. He was fascinated. He dove into the various facets of this technology with a childlike zeal. In October 2012, ever eager to explore new horizons and keep his mind active, Jerry, now in his 70s, decided to move to an entirely new country and culture after visiting a friend in the Central American nation of Panama. Always a lover of warm weather, Jerry was immediately at home with its tropical climate. The warmth and friendliness of its people and the many available food options only solidified his high regard for his new home. It wasn't long till he had the desire to put some serious effort into another book, something big and special that would be a worthy follow-up to the super success of the original Moneylove. He devoted hundreds of hours to researching, interviewing, and dialoguing with people who were at the cutting edge of many of the current trends. It was an extremely comprehensive undertaking, and he sought out some of the most highly acclaimed experts in many diverse fields. Jerry put it all together in a masterpiece called Moneylove 3.0. So packed with vital information and data, each of its 12 chapters could easily be complete books on their own. In December of 2015, Jerry passed away quite unexpectedly of a heart attack in his newly adopted country of Panama. As any close friends of Jerry would attest, he had no fear of death and was likely looking forward to learning and enjoying what lay on the other side of that monumental transition. While his body has certainly moved on, Jerry's knowledge and his wonderful, playful, and generous spirit still remain and continue to touch the lives of thousands. With those dynamics in mind, it is an honor and a pleasure to announce that two of Jerry's friends will be taking on the mantle to organize, distribute, and maintain the central concepts of Moneylove in an ongoing and ever-evolving manner. Michael Budnick and Tony Bussey, each huge fans and proponents of Jerry's work with prosperity consciousness, will be incorporating many of those ideas into a new entity called Prosperity for the New Millennia. This new platform will allow Jerry's wonderful concepts and ideas to be shared far and wide, and to continue to positively impact as many people as possible. As we near the close, we wish to give a very large and heartfelt thank you to Jerry Gillies for all that he has so generously shared with so many. We thank you for sharing your childlike wonder. We thank you for sharing your never-ending intellectual curiosity. We thank you for sharing your engaging writing style and your wonderful announcer's voice. We thank you for sharing all of your incredible knowledge and wisdom. In addition to thanking you for sharing these items, we thank you also for the effort you made to teach us how to have and experience these wonderful things for ourselves. We will close this production out with one of your favorite songs, composed by your friend David Friedman. It's a fitting conclusion, as it exemplifies your eternal optimism. Help is indeed always on the way.
Don't give up the ship, even when you feel it sinking and you don't know what to do. Don't give up your dream, even though you may be thinking it never will come true. Life has its own ideas of how things come about. And if you just hang in there, life is gonna work it out. Help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met.